MAGA Senator Lindsey Graham went on national TV to try to defend Trump, and he quickly regretted it as his defense immediately backfired. So let's go ahead and hop right into the story. Now, firstly, Lindsey Graham is just incapable of bad-talking Trump. He was asked in this interview what he thinks Trump needs to do in pitch since he's sort of all over the place. And of course, Lindsey Graham gives a light non-answer and quickly moves on to attack Kamala Harris. Just take a look at this.
Right.
But let me ask you, in terms of Trump's closing arguments, I think I know where you think they should be, but he's been all over the place. You know, there's the enemy within stuff.
Yeah,
he was on with Joe Rogan for 3 hours, talking about, among other things, life on Mars. What do you think he needs to do? What should the closing argument be?
Just go back to what people care about the most. People are hurting. Inflation is high. The economy is turned the wrong way. Immigration is broken. Kamala Harris's America is you basically have to mortgage your house to fill up your car, and when you go to the gas station, you're likely to get robbed by an illegal immigrant, and your daughter's playing against some guy in volleyball. I mean, that's the America that people don't like. And Michelle Obama's a good person. She's very articulate. But every time the Obamas pick the Democratic nominee, we win.
So this sort of gives you a good idea of what we're dealing with here. He is unable to simply criticize Trump in any way, and instead has to deflect to attacking Kamala Harris. And this is even more apparent when he was asked about how John Kelly called Trump a fascist. He completely defended Trump and got visibly upset about it. Just take a look at this.
Well, let me ask you about where Trump is right now. I mean, we had this extraordinary event this week. John Kelly, who, of course,
I heard that.
was his Secretary of Homeland Security, his chief of staff, longest-serving chief of staff, saying that he's a textbook definition of a fascist, that he wants to be a dictator, and he said a lot more than that.
He has, and he lost his son in Iraq, General Kelly. I know him. I've had a good relationship with him, but he's undermining a concept that's been good for America, I think. Our generals have sort of been apolitical. He's entitled to his opinion. I just categorically reject it. 3 weeks before the election, you're calling basically Trump Hitler, a fascist, is not going to resonate. What happened to joy on the Democratic side? They went from joy to now Trump is Hitler. That's desperation. How about a little self-reflection about the job you did before you criticize others?
I mean, I could go through all the good things you've said about all three of those men. And look, Donald Trump...
That was before they weighed in and turned America upside down.
Donald Trump
using rhetoric that's dangerous and is off base. So they decided to do this. You're the ones that want to weigh in. Okay, if you want to call him Hitler...
They didn't call him Hitler.
Well,
what they did is they warned
they're trying to scare Americans that this man can't fix the problems we need fixed. I reject that. I was there, too. I was around him. I don't think he's a fascist. I thought he was a very strong president at a time we needed a strong president. I think he will be a strong president to get this country back on track, to revive our economy, to secure our border, and put out fires. They're telling you they want 4 more years of Kamala Harris and 4 more years of the same policy. To these generals, you're trying to tell America that things are good now, they're terrible now. And if she's elected based on your advice, everything goes to hell at home and abroad. So reject their advice.
Now you may be wondering, why did Lindsey Graham end up regretting defending Trump? Well, that's because ABC put together a compilation of all of the times that Trump called Kamala Harris a fascist, and the best part is that they played it for Lindsey Graham on live TV. Just watch as he quickly shrivels up and has to find a way to respond to this.
Now, you have been very critical of the generals, 2 of them using the word fascist. Mitch McConnell and Speaker Johnson have been very critical, saying this is inciting violence. How dare you call Donald Trump a fascist? Let me just play you a little bit about what Donald Trump has had to say about Kamala Harris.
The true divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists, led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent.
She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this woman. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
So why don't you ask me, do I think Kamala Harris is a fascist? No. Do Do I think she's a communist? No. I think she's the most liberal person to ever be dominated by a major party. I think she's ineffective. I think she's incompetent.
This is just so funny to me because you can't have it both ways, Lindsey Graham. You have to pick a side. And because he was so against calling Trump a fascist and using that language to describe a president, he just couldn't go on and call Kamala Harris a fascist. So he had to sheepishly say, oh no, I mean, I don't think she's a fascist, but she's the most liberal person in office ever. And I think we all know that he wanted to call her a fascist so bad, but ABC caught him in a hard place and made it so he physically couldn't without being called out heavily for it. So this was great on ABC's part. They asked Lindsey Graham about what he thought about people calling Trump a fascist, and then he went and defended Trump and criticized them for using that word, and then ABC fact-checked him in real time and showed him that Trump uses that talking point as well. So great work, ABC. This is the kind of accountability that we need to see, because Republicans have no trouble lying and being hypocritical, and the only way to stop them is to shut them down immediately.